reading from the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 1, beginning at verse 5. When Herod was king of Judea, there was a priest by the name of Zechariah from the priestly group of Abijah. His wife, Elizabeth, was from the family of Aaron. Both of them were good people and pleased the Lord God. But they did not have children. Elizabeth could not have any, and both Zechariah and Elizabeth were already old. One day, Zechariah's group of priests were on duty, and he was serving God as a priest. He had been chosen to go into the Lord's temple that day and to burn incense. All at once, an angel from the Lord appeared to Zechariah on the right side of the altar. Zechariah was confused and afraid when he saw the angel, but the angel told him, "Don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayers. Your wife Elizabeth will have a son, and you must name him John. John will lead many people in Israel to turn back to the Lord their God. He will go ahead of the Lord with the same power and spirit that Elijah had. John will get people ready for the Lord."
Be careful what you pray for, my old dad always used to say. He were a priest too, but that were good advice. Not that I always managed it. And I knew right off what were happening, even without the business over my boy's name. I thought I'd believed, but maybe not enough. Have you ever seen an angel? I know it were the temple and all, but you don't expect one in workplace, do you? Mind, it weren't just any working day. I'd been picked for incense burning, and well, some never get that chance. There's 24 divisions of priests rotating around various temple tasks, taking as turns throughout the year. We're all descendants of Aaron, you see, the first priest. So there's far more priests than his brother Moses could have shaken his stick at. Mind, it meant those duties remained special, more of a joy than a burden. And as I had to travel up to Jerusalem without the wife, well, at least I wouldn't be leaving her on her own too much. So, where were I? Ah, yes, by altar. When he arrived, stepping down a shaft of sunlight, a staircase for silence. I looked up. He were right there, outshining the gold candelabra. My heart were pounding, but I froze, terrified, mouth open probably, as the incense smoke, the people's prayers and mine, began to curl upwards. Those worshippers' apathetic faces, the temple taxes, the beggars laid outside walls, flashed through my mind. In the way of God's angels, mind, he, Gabriel, brought news. A baby? When all hope had gone? If he'd said I were about to be king, I couldn't have been more flabbergasted. Elizabeth were past all that, surely. His face were serene. Name the child John. Your prayers are answered. And he will be warm-up act for the Lord, getting folks on side. The Lord, like Malachi's prophecy, I will send my messenger to prepare the way, and the Lord whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple. Oh, wait. This were the temple. Not just our son and heir then, but someone with a unique path, a key person. Not just one of many priests doing his couple of weeks' annual duty, changing minds, turning hearts towards God, like Elijah. Elijah! I'd no idea he'd take offence, mind, and me not quite catching on. It's a Jewish thing, needing confirmation. All those years of waiting and sincerely praying. But nowt. What else would I be thinking? My sweet, devout wife felt cursed. Course I wanted that to end. I don't know how I got back outside at Holy of Holies, that's what we call it, and how. I was shaken to the core like there'd been an earthquake. But there they all stood, congregation, waiting impatiently for their blessing, my big moment. But nowt. My jaw, my lips, they moved, but noiselessly. I pointed frantically at my throat. Others rushed to grab me trembling arms. They reckoned I'd gone white, but I felt my cheeks were burning with shame. The shock, they said. Demanding certainty meant leaving no room for faith. I thought I'd been faithful. I still were hoping my voice would return before I got home. But this were Gabriel's ironic, silent fanfare. So I made the long trek back. Luckily, distant cousin were going that way too. He ran on ahead to warn Beth. She came running out as I were climbing hill, bombarding me with questions I couldn't answer. But then, no, I didn't tell her, not even write it down. Why raise her hopes, even though I were in no doubt? God might yet change his mind. I told myself it wouldn't be much longer, not in the general scheme of things. So I got used to writing stuff down, waving my hands about. When Beth told me we were to have a child, I just scribbled, I know. The angel told me. They were on the brink of something extraordinary. Gabriel's words about their future son's pivotal role in God's work gave the merest hint of what was to unfold. Zechariah had prayed. They both had. He diligently carried out his priestly duties, but they'd largely grown used to the disappointment. There'd be no clutch of bonny grandchildren, a more secure old age, someone to inherit their property or carry on the family name, unless God. But then, if God intervened, there'd be uncontrollable consequences. Anyone who saw what happened to this decent but pitifully childless couple was left in no doubt at all. Something strange was going on. It was unnerving. The months of enforced silence between the angelic visit and the moment Zechariah named his tiny son gave him time to reflect on the meaning of their agonizing wait. With faith then reinvigorated, he and his wife prepared to experience the new thing God was going to do soon. Not just through their own longed-for child, but the mysterious one who was to follow. Zechariah hadn't ever expected a yes to his prayers, not that late in the day, nor, as it turned out, for a son quite like John. God's responses don't always match our prayers exactly. Hardly any of the fallout could be imagined by the would-be parents, their family, friends or neighbours, the temple hierarchy, those in power, that particular generation or future ones. Zechariah was waiting. But for what?